What is going on, guys? It's Childish back at it with the next episode of Critical Thinking with Childish. Yay! All right. Don't laugh too hard, but I just got done recording what I thought would be the video, but I made it through a third of the video and hit the 30-minute mark. So I basically was on track for a 90-minute video. I should have broken it up, but I really think I can condense it. And I don't want to have, tons of videos out there to talk about it. So I'm going to try the best I can to move straight through it. If anything doesn't make too much sense, please make a note in the comment section below, and I will go ahead and try to explain it as best I can. So the topic today is going to be arena team building. Okay, and I'm going to be focusing on the people that are in the beginning to the early stages, maybe mid to late, but not far end game. Okay, why is that the case? Because the majority of the people that play this game are not people that are putting tons and tons of money in the game, and they don't have all the options that some of the end gamers have. They got limited stuff. They might got lucky and got a few units, but more or less they got a couple of choices that they can work with. So I want to kind of relate to those couple of people, or those few people, and hopefully this information can help it out. So arena team building. Let's go ahead and get to the basics of arena team building. In my opinion, the first and foremost method for trying to build a quality team is having synergy, or having 4 units that have a relationship with each other in a way that allows them to utilize their skills to make every single person on their team beneficial. Okay, so the 3 main teams that are or the 4 main teams that are out there are going to be, let me get out of this channel here real quick. They're going to be your hit point. They're a hit point based team, and those are teams that are offensive and defensive in nature, but their attacks, their stats, they're all based off of attacks and moves are all based off max hit points. Okay, so some of those units are going to be units that you start out with, like Ramagos, or you can, or maybe the Light Bearman if you fortunate to get that. They have heals based off max HP, but for the end game, you might have units such as the Fire Death Knight, which is pretty popular. Quite a few units out there that you can definitely utilize to your advantage there. So that's going to be the hit point type of teams. Your next type of teams are going to be your speed-based teams. These are teams that utilize their focus is on trying to be as fast as they can in order to get the lead on their opponent and take the edge early on. Meaning their goal is to take control, get a couple hits in, and hopefully knock out 1 or 2, giving them the advantage early on and allowing them to be successfully win. I would say speed team is considered probably the meta, like the true meta of the game right now. You got a lot of the teams that people use, but you will see more speed teams out there it's more common. All right, so your next team is going to be your control teams, and these are teams that are utilizing the abilities of attack gauge reduction, attack gauge increase, or stuns, or sleeps in their benefit to control the opponent and allow them to basically, and in addition to all those tools, provoking, in addition to that, provoking, so that they can control their opponent, attack the ones they want to attack, isolate the ones that are going to be strong against them, and take them down either one by one or all together, just depending on what kind of their team to makeup are. So we got hit point, we got speed, we got we got control, and then we got your just general attack based or defense based teams that rely on attacks based on their defense or their offense. Generally speaking, there's a wide variety of units that have a combination of 1, 2, or even 3 of the topics that I just discussed. But at the end of the day, those are probably the 3 to 4 main teams. So how do we go about creating a team based on those stats? Well, it's pretty simple. We find ourselves leaders based on those particular type of attributes. So we're going to be looking for units with leader skills that increase hit points, that increase attack damage, that increase defense, that increase resistance, or that increase accuracy. Okay? One thing I will mention before I get going, notice that the units that I pick are going to be units that have a skill or a leader skill that have that are based on or give you abilities that are based on that everybody can take advantage of. I'm not going to be talking about mono element leaders. Why? Because mono element leaders are not going to be beneficial in the arena. And I believe this is true for the beginning to middle stage people. You're always going to find somebody trying to run a fire, wind, or water-based team that will continuously lose because since the people that are attacking you in real time, they can choose the units that they want to use before they attack you, where you have no choice. It's your AI. They're always going to have the elemental advantage, making it a lot easier for them to take out. So stay away from the mono element teams, but focus on the teams that have the leader skills that are universal. Let's go ahead and get started. Fail. Fire Serpent, great starter unit to have if you don't have a lot of options. This increases the hit points of your ally monsters in arena. So if you have units that have attacks based on hit points, this can increase the damage of those attacks. Or vice versa, if you have defense-based units that have a lot of hit points, or you're trying to set up a defense-based team to have as much hit points as you can to survive as much as you can, throw in some healers, this and that, whatever, this would be a beneficial team. The only skill to really mention here from this particular unit is his AoE Provoke. Remember, Provoke is a control type attack that allows him to have all the enemies attack him versus a unit that they may be strong against. This takes their turn away from them, and if it's a healer or if it's another type of control unit, this might take their outright ability to save a unit from dying, or attacking a unit that might be almost dead. Provoking, and I've stated before, is one of the most underrated skills of our time. People don't utilize it to the extreme, and it should be utilized very much so. Okay, moving on. It's funny. I'm gonna be blasting through this because I know that these are where all of them are. I just went through all of them. So, next up, we got the Fire Amazon, small attack speed leader. So if you have a couple of units that are based on speed, damage is based on speed, or maybe some of their attacks or controls are based on speed, or even their defense. Defensive maneuvers, like Fanatic from Chloe, is based on speed. This might be a good leader to have if you don't have one of the better 4-star tier leaders. 13% to add. 2 attacks based on critical rate. So if you have this unit spec'd for critical damage, you will do a lot of damage. Alrighty, moving on, we got Miss Rebecca. Miss Rebecca is a very situational unit. She increases the accuracy of monsters in the arena by 26. You will definitely not see a lot of units, a lot of teams set up with accuracy, but I have been able to prove that accuracy teams work well. I'll give you an example. Early on, I made a small video on my wife's account while I was practicing my arena attack sequencing. I took a Bernard the Wind Griffin to lead off with the highest speed. I would take Shannon with them to buff up all the team. Then I would have Luir, the Water Phantom Thief, and Julie, the Water Period, and I would have Luir attack third, decreasing everybody's attack gauge by 50% and defense. And then Julie would finish everybody off, killing all 4 units with a buffed up 1,000 shot attack, which is her AoE. So think about that. You get the speed buff to get everyone to attack first. You get the attack and defense buff in case everything fails with the defense. You got the attack. Then you got an attack case reduction defense debuff in addition to a big attack from Julie. Worked super well against wind and water teams. Fire teams, it's a little bit, or sorry, water and fire teams versus wind teams is a little bit more challenging, but no one really rocked an elemental team, so I never had any issues with wind teams, or I just stayed away from them. Really strong. You got her situational buff that removes harmful effects, and then you got her enemy AoE that does a lot of damage if the opponent uses a lot of beneficial effects. So this is a great unit for countering other teams. You got, if you have another team that based on a lot of shielding, a lot of shield buffs or whatever, this will help you take them down. But again, situation unit, you don't see it used a lot, but it can be used. If you have one, save it, maybe give it a go. But for the middle to or so stages, this is probably not going to be one of your top units. Still an option though. Okay, moving on. Where we at? I see her. Okay, good. We got Beretta, attack speed leader. Only 19%, not the highest one out of the cells, but very, very good. She has a way of reducing the attack bar to 0, which essentially can, reset a unit that might have a big attack coming up. You got some constant damage here, and then you got a regular attack that can provide a chance to add some critical hit to it. So very, very nice, but the speed leader is really what is beneficial. This is a unit that can be fused right now, so get the components and make this unit if you don't have a speed leader. You got next up Aria, or Akia, that has another accuracy by 40%. I'm not going to go into detail on this one. We already know about the accuracy. Just want to throw out the option with more accuracy. So she is nice. She provides the accuracy in addition to the controlling effect of her first skill. So that will provide a lot of sleeping, but it's kind of controversial as far as the quality of this unit because sleeping does not stun the unit and it can be broken from an AoE attack or another attack. Next up, we got Clara. She increases the resistance of monsters by 30%. So I see this unit utilized a lot in the read and defense teams that have a lot of healers, a lot of support units that have, naturally very high resistances, or normally expect for high resistances. So you see that with a lot of healers and sylphids and stuff like that. Good unit, can stun, remove beneficial effects, and as well as decrease the attack power. Okay. Next up, we got Mr. Gene. Increases the resistance, so another enhanced person if you get an opportunity to use this unit. A lot of resistance here. A great passive attack to increase your damage versus fire and wind. I mean, obviously it increases against water, but is a weaker element. Definitely one of the better single target units out there if you're looking for some single target DPS. So take advantage of it if you have it. Chloe, without a doubt, one of the top 5 arena leaders and or units out there. Her defensive ally was one of the best. Now we got a few new units that have a little higher percentage, but she's the only unit that has a skill that allows invincibility as well as immunity in the same skill. Some units have invincibility by itself, or some units have immunity by itself. This is the only one with both of them together. So this is quality unit, and it's based off of speed. So she can get a lot of attacks in per round versus other people that have lower speed. So great unit. Okay, you got Antares, critical rate. He's our first person that has an increased critical rate of ally monsters. People might think, why is this beneficial? Well, if you have 2 or 3 units that have a high passive critical rate or have skills with high critical rate, added critical rate to them, you can spec him for critical damage, which is going to be a rage combo, rage blade or something like that, and get additional benefits of utilizing something like this. So while this unit may not be considered good, he can really emphasize a lot of damage for his particular team if they're based off of critical damage and critical rate. So check that out. Here is one of our newer units, Wang Hua. I think she's kind of controversial as far as her ability to be one of the better Kung Fu girls of her 3 elements. But the attack power of Arena is nothing to be ashamed about. Definitely going to be utilized in a more offensive-based team. You're not going to see a lot of these on the Arena defense, obviously, for the attack power. The goal should be to utilize her for Arena offense, unless your Arena defense is your offense and you're trying to out DPS the DPSer. Okay, so stick to the trend. Next up is Vanessa. We got attack speed of ally monsters in Arena by 33%. She is the highest attack speed leader currently. Great skills, a revive, great unit, but not going to spend too much time talking about her because she's not, one to get a lot of. Zyros and a universal attack power. If you get him, he's going to be your leader for till the day you die, because this is just a great unit all around. A lot of AoEs, a lot of raw damage. Great unit. Get him on your friends list so you can just blow away the whole game. Just a quality unit here. Oops, wrong one. I clicked the wrong one. Okay, you have another critical rate unit here. Same thing as before with the Fire Lich. This will be great to utilize for units that have a lot of attacks or their setup is based on crit damage. Great skill here to remove beneficial effects and add continuous damage. So this is going to be a great situational unit to counter a lot of beneficial effect teams, defensive teams, offensive teams. So the Chloes, the Windsylphs, this is going to be a great counter towards them. You got your own personal removal of the harmful effects, so that's good. Then you got the new Monkey King, Mr. Mihao Wang. Very good defense, ally monsters, and by 33%. So he's a defense-based unit with a defense-based leader skill. Nice combo to have. You see a lot of hybrids out there that have attack speed leader, but they're more of a defensive unit. It's kind of weird. It's like, you don't see a lot of same defensive unit with a defensive skill. Doesn't happen all the time. You got a little stun. We got a little defense break that increases his self-heal, so keeping him alive more. And then you got the nice ability that it can increase your attack power. Even though it's a defensive-based unit, this guy has ways of increasing his attack, so he can be definitely useful on both ends of the spectrum. All right. Going to be moving to, the water, but I want to go ahead and check real quick, see where we're at. Okay. So, where's my game? So, guys, I think what I'll go ahead and do, since that one already took 20 minutes, I will go ahead and cut this video short here. We'll make this a 3-part series for this Critical Thinking with Childish. We'll just kind of do it element by element so I can move right along. The other ones might be a little bit quicker. I think Fire one was the worst one. My apologies for the video taking so long, but wanted to provide as much information as possible so you guys can get in there, create your teams, and do the best you can in the arena. And there's going to be another type of video following this series of critical thinking that makes you more aware of why I'm putting so much emphasis on team leaders, arena, and whatnot, why it's so important. So thanks, guys, for tuning in, and please come back because after I post this up, I'll be shortly posting up the next video for the water element leaders. All right.